Bye, amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of the show with no name. And right now, it's time for, you know it, liftoff.
T-minus 10, 9,
8, 7, come on.
6, 5,
4, 3.
2,
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
0. Ignition.
Come on.
Liftoff. Liftoff.
Here we go.
30 minutes after the
Here we go. Woohoo!
Get ready. Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready for the ride of your life. The
Show with no
Show with no
name.
name. On Fun Radio. It's a show with no name. Let's go.
Hello, 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 amigos. Welcome one, welcome all, wherever you may be tuning in from. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're ready to kick some ass. Arrasar, I think you say. I hope you're ready to kick some ass on today's show. Because, as I always say, we don't care what day of the week it is, what time it is. We're always ready and willing. Esas palabras van juntas mucho. Ready and willing to have a blast, to learn something. So if you've got that mindset, and mindset is mentalidad, you can say mentality, but mindset is totally native. Y de eso va. Here on the show, we learn totally native English and get ready to learn a lot of it. So grab a notebook, grab a pen, and most importantly, get ready to repeat the different things you hear aloud, en voz alta, and have some fun with your fellow show with no-namers. Fellow puede ser tipo, he's a nice fellow, pero también si lo usamos así como my fellow Americans, mis iguales, right? So welcome, amigos. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We are going to kick off with our first challenge. It's our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. ¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional.
No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
All right, amigos, that's right. It's our masters. And remember, you got 3 different ways you can do our masters. You can do the weekend, you can do full-time, or just evenings. Of course, it depends on your schedule. Just be careful. I say schedule. The British say shh, como callar a alguien, schedule. It's not on my schedule. And we say it's not on my schedule. Hey, tomato, tomato. But then my next question is, well, then why don't they say potato? Because they don't. British people say potato. So ¿qué cambia ahí? What happened? You know, let's just follow the pattern. It makes sense if it's potato that it should also be tomato. But that's also something we say when we are debating semantics. Right? Bueno, potato, tomato, 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 right? I'm sure you have another way of saying it. Bueno, patatín, patata, you know, I don't know. I'm making it up in Spanish. Me suena algo de eso. So, folks, if you want to find out about the Masters or any of our amazing initiatives over at Vaughan, and believe me, we've got a lot of them, go over to grupovaughan.com and you'll be able to learn and laugh with us in any of our courses, whether it's a weekend town, a Vaughan town, a master's, or perhaps you're into self-study. Well, then you've got all the materials you'll need at your fingertips at vaughantienda.com. So stop by. In fact, in today's pop quiz, we'll be taking a look at Aprende Inglés desde cero. Now, I think this is something that's good for all levels. Why? Well, who doesn't need to go over the basics? I mean, no matter, even in everything in life, you know, sometimes we overcomplicate things. You know, it's good to think things over. Es bueno darle vueltas, pensar las cosas bien, but not to overthink, right? Apúntate esa. It's a great one. No sé si alguien lo ha acuñado. I don't know if it's been coined, but it's great to think things over. You have to. You don't make a big decision without thinking it over. Piensa, over es dándole vueltas. Pero no dándole vueltas que no duermas, because that's overthinking, right? So I guess it's the same, as being sensitive, which is good. Es bueno ser sensible a las cosas, no solo porque quiere decir que eres un llorón, that you like to cry. Sometimes just, being sensitive as you feel, it's empathy, empatía, right? Things like that. So today we're going to be taking a look at something from Aprende Inglés desde cero. It is available at vaughantienda.com, and you're not going to believe it, but it's got over 7 hours of audio. In that audio, you'll look at vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, common mistakes, totally native idiomatic expressions, and the building blocks, como decimos, ¿no? Los ladrillos, piénsalo así. The building blocks, lo básico, los cimientos, I think you say, the foundation of the language. And you've got 7 hours of audio. It is a very, what's the word I want to use? I guess an attractive book, too. When you see the book, it looks like a book that you want to get into, that you want to sink your teeth into, hincarle el diente. It's called Aprende Inglés desde cero. We're going to learn something from it right now, so I want everybody to pay attention, but I didn't give you the jingle, of course. Oh, yeah, I did. I already gave you the pop quiz jingle. Yeah, I did. All right, well, without any further ado, sin más, without any further ado, here's a little audio excerpt from Inglés desde cero, Aprende Inglés desde cero, available at vaughantienda.com. Listen carefully, and then we'll chat afterwards. I'll have a couple challenges for you.
3.8 Basics. Ordinal numbers. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, 32nd, 33rd, 40th, 50th, 60th, 70th, 80th, 90th, 100th.
Yo vivo en la primera planta, Mary vive en la segunda planta y Tom vive en la cuarta planta.
I live on the first floor, Mary lives on the second floor, and Tom lives on the fourth floor.
Hoy es mi 53 cumpleaños.
Today is my 53rd birthday.
4.2 Grammar. His, her, and its.
Su, sus, de él.
His,
Su, sus, de ella.
her,
Su, sus, de ello.
its.
Este es Alberto. Sus padres son de Portugal.
This is Alberto. His parents are from Portugal.
Esta es Kelly. Sus padres son del sur de Inglaterra.
This is Kelly. Her parents are from the south of England.
Mamen y su amigo están aquí.
Marmon and her friend are here.
Eric y sus amigos no están aquí.
Eric and his friends aren't here.
Esa es Laura y su perro.
That's Laura and her dog.
Su libro, de él, está debajo de su bolso, de ella.
His book is under her bag.
Su coche, de él, está al lado de su bicicleta, de ella.
His car is next to her bike.
¿Son esas sus revistas, de ella? No, son sus revistas, de él.
Are those her magazines? No, they're his magazines.
No es su idea de él, es su idea de ella.
It's not his idea, it's her idea.
Salamanca es famosa por su universidad.
Salamanca is famous for its university.
Ávila es famosa por su muralla.
Avila is famous for its walls.
Santiago es famosa por su catedral.
Santiago is famous for its cathedral.
¿Conoces Weekend Town? La nueva iniciativa de Vaughan.
Pues no.
Es un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. Y es nuevísimo.
A ver, cuéntame más.
Tendrás una inmersión lingüística total durante 2 días. Un total de 24 horas hablando con angloparlantes de todo el mundo.
¡Wow! ¡Qué interesante!
Ganarás confianza y soltura a la hora de comunicarte en inglés. Mejorarás tu comprensión auditiva y tus habilidades conversacionales en una situación de comunicación real en inglés. Ven a Weekend Town y te sorprenderás con todo lo que puede avanzar tu inglés en un fin de semana. Weekend Town de Vaughan. Un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés.
That's right, folks. More information about Weekend Town, just go to grupovon.com. Also, don't forget, if you're following us on social media, you'll know when we've got special deals, when we've got upcoming events. In fact, I can confirm the upcoming trivia night. Let me just open my calendar here because Rob gave us the heads up, el aviso. So this will be for February 2025. And if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me yet, but mark your calendars just in case. It should be the first Tuesday. Remember, we used to do it on Wednesday, so little day change there. And it's going to be at 8 p.m. It'll be February 4th. It's our Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. Tons of fun every time, every month. And this one is going to be hosted by Chris Frank, the host of Frankly Speaking. Chris Frank is the host of one of our newest shows, both him and Ruby with Speak Up. Was it Ruby? Yeah, those are our latest shows. So if you haven't given them a listen to Speak Up with Ruby. It's right after the lunchtime show with Rob and Andy. And also you've got at the end of the day, when it's time to just kick back and relax, you can have a cocktail with Chris Frank on Frankly Speaking. And you can join him at our next Vaughn Radio Trivia. I should say, join him, join us. Because as you know, there's always a good turnout. And if you didn't know this word, it means asistencia en este significado, right? So there's always a great turnout from you guys, our listeners, us, the presenters and people who work at Vaughn Radio. So hopefully, well, I know we're going to have a wonderful time, and hopefully you can join us. All right, let's take a look at this. It was Inglés desde cero. It's available at Vaughn Tienda, as I said, around 7 hours of audio, which is just mind-blowing. And again, you can follow along. So it tells you pista tal, track 11, and then you can follow along in the book and do the exercises as well. And really, I mean, if you do 15, 20 minutes a day, that's great. If you can do an hour, even better. Obviously, the more you train, this is like everything, like sports, like everything. The more you train, the easier it gets. Correct? Right? Like if you lift weights, at first you're like, oh man, 27 kilos. Well, I'm going, whoa, I can only do 4 sets of, lo que sea, whatever your threshold is, tu umbral, your threshold, right? But that increases, right? That's the way it works. And if you can put in more time, again, that's what's the major debate when we talk about group classes versus private classes. All right, well, have you ever had a personal trainer? Well, that's what having your own teacher is. Okay, because that means you're not waiting for Juan to figure out the answer when you know it already, right? You're working at your pace. You're working on what you and the teacher want to work on. With my students, when I have private classes, that's exactly what I do. I have my plan always, but I'm always open because maybe the student says, I have an interview next week, or I have to prepare a presentation. Can we work? Or my phone skills are lacking. No, carezco. That's what we work on. So that is one of the, really a group class. There are pros and cons to both. If you do our Vaughn groups, you're going to meet amazing people that you already know you have stuff in common with. Hello, the English thing, right? But if you have a private teacher, your own personal teacher, well, obviously you're going to make progress a bit faster, right? And you're going to spend less time working on stuff, or not so much working on stuff, because the content is the same, but you can move on faster. You don't have to wait for everybody to get it and everybody to practice it. So if time is of the essence, no, si el tiempo es oro, si el tiempo cuenta tanto, then there's nothing like having your own private teacher. You got all those options. Just go to grupovaughn.com and also Vaughn Tienda for materials. All right, so let's see what we've got. The first challenge here in our pop quiz is no pasó en el siglo XX, sino en el siglo XXI. Okay? So that's the first one, your first translation. We were looking at ordinal numbers, and those tend to cause some confusion, and we'll clear it up. Don't you worry. Don't you worry at all. And if you noticed, right, there's one thing where British people and American people do not agree. The British say sixth. So they say the word sick, como enfermo, más el sonido th, sixth. This is the 6th time I've told you that. Americanos decimos enfermos, o el, right? So con ese realmente. Y igual el th. So vamos a repasarlo. Inglés británico, this is the 6th time I've told you that. Yo cuando lo oí por primera vez digo, te falta una S, tío. And he's like, no, that's how we say it. And I said, really? My friend Pete, I'll never forget. I was like, sixth? Why sixth? And we say sixth. O sea, es más fácil el de ellos. Sixth. O sea, tienes que hacer de S a TH. I know. That's why we're highlighting it. Sé que es chungo y por eso lo estamos viendo. So, no pasó, ocurrió, right, en el siglo XX, sino en el siglo XXI. That's number one. Number two. ¿En qué planta vives? Yo vivo en la planta baja. ¿Ok? ¿En qué planta vives? Yo vivo en la planta baja. All right? That's number two. We heard about plantas, right? And I think the next one, you can't get more practical than this. Tell us when you were born or when your birthday is. Lo puedes formatear como quieras. Dinos tu fecha de nacimiento, tu cumpleaños, whatever, however you want to word it. Yo recomiendo que practiquéis el nací con el born para asegurar que lo tengas perfecto. But I want to see how you write the date as well. Remember, we don't agree on that either. That's why I always say, you know, you want clarity there. Y más cuando puede ser 5-6, 5 del 6 o 6 del 5. Pero eso ya cambia todo. It's easy when it's over 12. Porque ya dices, bueno, no puede ser el mes 18, porque no hay. Pero cuando son los números pequeños, puede confundir bastante. So remember, with that one, with telling us when you were born, we're looking for clarity. That anybody, a British person, an American person, anybody can pick it up and say, oh, okay, no hay confusión, lo tengo clarísimo cuando naciste. So let me review all three challenges. They're all related to ordinal numbers. And the first one, no pasó en el siglo XX, sino en el siglo XXI. Number two, ¿en qué planta vives? You just moved in, entrar en un nuevo sitio. You just moved into a new building and you're asking the neighbor, ¿en qué planta vives? Yo vivo en la planta baja. And the third one, tell us when you were born. Also, folks, the question of the week is back. That's right. If you noticed last week, we didn't have a live show on Friday or Thursday. We had to take care of some business. We had to TCB, hasta se dice tanto que ya tiene su sigla y todo. We had to take care of business, and we had a kids group in, and also we had to film some things. So my apologies. You always have a repeat. If there isn't a live show, you always have a repeat. So don't worry about that at all. But it's always nice to be here with you live. That's to be able to spend this time together. But needs must. ¿Te sabes esta? Needs must es pues la responsabilidad llama, ¿no? Si hay cosas que hacer, pues hay que hacerlas, right? Things, priorities have to be taken care of. And since at Vaughan, well, we do much more than radio. We're always producing content and materials, both audio visual as well as our books. All right. So the question of the week this week, and I look forward to hearing from all of you again in the new year. How do you handle criticism? Okay. How do you handle criticism? Do you use it to grow? Do you get bitter and spiteful, rencoroso, when somebody criticizes you? So, the verb is to criticize. Okay? I've heard students say criticate. I'm like, pues voy a criticar tu inglés ahora. So, how do you handle criticism? I mean, what do you do with it? And let's assume it's constructive criticism. Okay, because obviously there's criticism that is aimed at hurting someone. No, su objetivo es dañar a alguien, joderles. Vamos a hablar alto y claro. Right? Tú es que eres gordo. Okay, that doesn't help anybody. Ahora, decir, deberías cambiar la dieta porque tal, porque bueno, la salud. You know, that's a different kind of thing. And we all know the difference. I think since we're little kids, you're like, eso no ha sido una crítica. So, how do you handle constructive criticism? Criticism in general, you can tell us too. Hey, that's up to you. You've got around a minute. If you want to participate, leave me a 1-minute voice message. You can record it on your phone, and you can send it to my email address. It's aalonso@grupovon.com. aalonso@grupovon.com. And tell us how you handle criticism. Because we get it. We get the good kind, the constructive kind, and we all get the other kind as well. So tell us how you handle it, how you deal with it. Folks, we've got to go to a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we've got a lot of stuff to cover, so stick around. Welcome back. Welcome back, amigos. This is part 2 of today's show with No Name here on Vaughn Radio. So we've got question of the week on Friday. Wednesday, we've got our Italian section. So we are officially back in the swing of things. Hemos vuelto del todo. We are back in the swing of things. ¿Dónde aprendes estas expresiones tan nativas? Here, on the show with No Name. That's our claim to fame. No sé, yo creo. El éxito de este programa, I teach you real English. Right? The real stuff. I don't polish it. No lo voy limando y haciendo bonito. It's the way we speak. And I make sure I don't speak to you in English teacher English. But I've always been a natural-born communicator. No, nunca me ha costado expresarme, comunicarme. Hasta cuando no hablaba. Yeah, well, hey, there's a lot to be said for gestures and body language, right? Sure. That goes a long way. Da para mucho. All right, amigos, let's kick off the second part of the show with the Say What soundbite. Come on. Say what? What? Yes, Say What soundbite. Come on, come on. All right, folks, as always, we're going to hear from a native person, a celebrity, hailing from some, well, they're not always from English-speaking countries. I was going to say hailing from an English-speaking country, but not always. How many times have we had, Antonio Banderas or, a Spanish basketball player? Or Fellini, different people who English isn't their first language. But that's cool too, because then you can hear how other famous people speak and you can compare your English, I should say, to their English, right? But today, this guy's a native speaker. Born and bred, se puede decir, in the USA. All right? As always, I want you to listen carefully, and I want to see how much you can get from this audio. You're going to hear it 4 times. You'll have 4 chances to jot it all down. But first, I want to hear what you heard in your own words. Here it is for the first time.
Okay, and finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you f***ed in the first place.
All right, there you go. So, somebody was just bleeped out over there. I think you know the word, right? I think you can figure out the word that they bleep out. All right, here we go again, amigos. I'm going to give it to you for a second time, and then we can discuss what you heard. I also see we've got a lot of participation here in our pop quiz as well, so looking forward to reading all of your comments. Here we go, the Say What soundbite for the second time.
Okay, and finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you f***ed in the first place.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the Shit.
That's right, folks. This book is the shit, my latest book. And as you know, it's available at vaughantienda.com, where we can also get Aprende Inglés desde cero, which we're going to be taking a look at today. We already heard an excerpt from it, but now we're going to hear what you guys got from it in our pop quiz. Let's go on over here to our virtual classroom and see who's in the house. There's Born to Iron Man. Good morning, sir. He says hello and good morning, folks. Good morning to you. Great to have you on board. I know you are ready to rock. There's no doubt in my mind. There's lovely Laura. What's up, Laura? How's it going? Great to have you with us as well. She says, good morning, lovely show with no-namers. Let's make the most of these 2 magical hours we're going to spend together. With that attitude, it's going to go really well for you in life, not just in this 2 hours, Laura. And looking forward to learning with Laura on Wednesday, where we learn an Italian idiom, not just an idiom, but she teaches us some of the building blocks, some of the the foundations of the Italian language while she teaches us an idiom, and then we look at its counterpart in English. So that is excellent, Laura. Looking forward to you being back. The question of the week as well, because I get to hear your voices. And believe it or not, I missed not just talking with you guys and interacting with you guys, but also I missed hearing your voices as well. Hey, that's how it works. When you're friends, you don't hear your friend's voice in a couple weeks. Well, I miss hearing my friends' voices. So I hope to hear from you. Remember to send me your audio before Friday. So that means hopefully by Thursday. And this way I can, just make sure the audio is okay. And then I've got to take it off the computer. I put it into the editing software. I just take a look at it, make sure there's nothing weird, and I bring it up to the right level. And then I pop it into my soundboard over here, mi mesa de mezclar. And this way we can hear your voice on the air. So if you've participated before, keep it up. If you've never participated, what the hell are you waiting for? I know what every student is lacking. Lo sé. Una oportunidad de hablar, right? So that's what every student I know says, I need more opportunities to speak. That's another thing about having a private teacher, right? If you have your own teacher, you can talk as much as you want, really. That's up to you, right? Of course, your teacher's going to correct you if you make mistakes, but the more you speak, the more mistakes can come out and the faster we can move forward. Is that right? Well, that's the way it works. I know you know that. All right, let's see. We've got Chris Valrol joining us as well. She says, morning show with no namers. Let's go. Let's go. The 2 best hours of the morning. Oh, thank you for that magical comment, making me feel good, bringing a smile to my face. And so that's what I mean. It's not just your English that makes me smile, guys. It's reading your names, hearing your voices, and so on and so forth. Let's see. Chris is participating in our pop quiz. Let's see what she came up with. She says, it didn't happen in the 20th century, but in the 21st. Excellent. Y ahora, muy importante que también lo pronunciemos en voz alta. So it didn't happen in the 20th. Fijaos que hay una E que une el 20 con el TH. 20th. Right? Y eso con todos los múltiples, no? All the 10. So let's look at them. Vamos a hacerlos todos, ¿ok? Dilo tú, por favor, conmigo, porque yo ya sé decirlos. Es para que practiques, ¿ok? So 20th, it reminds me, it's a Doors song. She's a 20th century fox. She's a 20th. I'm pretty sure it reminds me of a Doors song. So 20th, 30th, or if you want to say it in the British way, 30th. But we say 30. La T es como una D para nosotros. 30th, 40. 40th, 50. 50th. Say them with me. 60, 60th, 70th, 80th, 90th, and 100th. Okay? So that's a tough one because a lot of students say 20th. Y digo, no, hay una E, pero tampoco le pongas mucho. 20th. Es cortita. 20th, 30th, 40th. All right? So great. It didn't happen in the 20th century. If you have century, century, but in the 21st. Y eso es otra cosa. Great job, Chris. Cada vez que es el 1, 2 o el 3, vuelve a first, second, third. O sea, aunque sea 1000. Right? This is the 1003rd time I've told you. Right? 283rd time I've told you. 200, o sea, el third es RD. It's not, porque he oído muchas veces 32th. No, 32nd, 31st, 32nd, 33rd. Con 40 igual. 41st, 42nd, 43rd. All right? Okay, let's see. The next one. Chris says, what floor do you live on? I live on the ground floor. Impeccable. Great job, Chris. La preposición, mira, a eso iba también, no solo los ordinales, pero las preposiciones correctas. In the 21st century or 20th century, la que quieras decir, pero es con in. On, con plantas. I live on tal planta. So what floor do you live on? I live on the ground floor. Fantastic. And then Chris says, I was born on February 5th, a snowy day. And you know what, Chris? It's wonderful that you spelled it out. Porque el tuyo justo, si pones 2 del 5 del 2, pues en inglés pueden creer que el 5 es el mes, mayo, y sería el 2 de mayo. So see, that yours is a perfect example of where either number could be a month. So in that case, if you want to, you want to avoid misunderstandings, no problem whatsoever. Write it out, right? Oh, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Mejor prevenir que curar. O sea, escríbelo bien que luego tener que explicarlo, all right? O que digan, no, pues yo pensaba que lo pusiste. Look, it happened to me the other day when I went to renew my daughter's passport. I signed my name and then I wrote the date in European and they said, this is the American embassy. I said, oh, right. But I live in Europe. So I wasn't going to argue with him, but I was like, yeah, I've been here for 20 years that I write it that way. It wasn't a big deal. No pasó nada. But he was like, wow, you've been here. I'm like, oh, yeah. So, all right, let's see. German in the house. What's up, German? Great to read your name here with us. He says, guys, I miss being here live. I guess I'll have to listen to the rerun. We miss you too, German. And I know you're still working hard, even though I know, you know what? Here's an applause for all of you who can't tune in live, which is the majority. Right? The show has a lot of downloads, a lot of people who listen on the app who can't tune in live. So again, the people who are lucky enough to be here live, you are our representatives. You represent them, the ambassadors, if you will, right? You're like in Fitz's classes, you represent the students that are there in the studio. Same thing, same deal, right? And the ones who aren't there are playing along with you. And sometimes they know it, and sometimes they don't know it. They're just like you. Right? So it's great to have our listeners who are here live, but also a lot of appreciation to all of those who can't be, but still listen and learn with us every day. I appreciate you. We appreciate you as well, because we know that makes our group stronger. As we say in English, strength in numbers. No, la fortitud, la fuerza viene de el que tiene más. Right? So, cuantos más sois, más fuerte sois. That's kind of the translation there. So we miss you too, German. Let's see. And the ladies concur. Let's see. Laura's participating in today's pop quiz. Let's see. I have a hunch she knocked it out of the park, but let's check her answers anyway. She says it didn't happen in the 20th century, but in the 21st. Excellent. It didn't happen in the 20th century, but in the 21st. All right. Great job. The next one. What floor do you live on? I live on the ground floor. Perfect. And she says, I was born on May 14th. Y eso es clave otra vez. La preposición, todo correcto. Great job, ladies. I was born on May 14th. Now, if we put the year, I wouldn't say that. So let's listen to all of them. Let me tell you mine para repasarlo todo. I was born in 1977. Apunta, sí. Tienes la guía de todo, right? So I was born in 1977. I was born in the autumn, otoño. Okay? 19 de noviembre es otoño. I think so. So, estación. I was born, año, right? I was born in the United States, right? Ahí otra vez, mira, tenemos el in. I was born on a Saturday. Ahí, aquí cambiamos el día, right? I was born on Saturday, November 19th. O sea, piensa, si es todos on the date, si es en un año, un mes, it's in. I was born in November. I was born on November 19th, right? So it's good to review those because, well, I've heard a lot of students mix them up naturally. In Spanish, it's all en. So great job. Another way to say to happen is to go down. It didn't go down in the 20th century, but in the 21st. Os quería dar ese totally native. So it didn't go down in the 20th century, but in the 21st. Let's see. Born to Iron Man has got something to say about it. Let's see what he says. He says it didn't happen in the 20th century, but in the 21st one. Great. The next one, what floor do you live on? I live on the first floor. And the last one, it is said that Born to Iron Man was born on, perfecto las preposiciones, on October 5th, 1972. Wow, not one mistake in our pop quiz. Y ha habido preposiciones y varias opciones ahí. So, excellent. Really wonderful job to our Holy Trinity. Hallelujah. All right, let's see. We've got some people participating in today's Say What soundbite, which we've already heard twice. Remember, we're going to hear it 4 times. Actually, 5. 4 times, but the 5th time is the reveal. ¿No? Es cuando digo, okay, vamos a ver qué se ha dicho. Okay? Laura says, I heard an American man who's speaking in front of an audience. He may be hosting a gala or participating in a talk show. He's suggesting that when people are in a hole, they should stop digging, not keep doing it. Great. Wow. Laura, you're definitely going to get it today because you basically got it there, right? So excellent job. You heard it perfectly and you described it perfectly as well. Wow, guys, really off to a great start this week. All right, let's see. Chris. Chris says, I heard an American man who's in a TV show. ¿Ves? Aquí la preposición chunga. On, right? On the radio, on TV. Acuérdate, on the air. En emisión siempre es on, right? But hey, if she hadn't written that, then we couldn't review that. So the fact that Chris wrote that down, made a little nuance of a mistake, matiz ahí, helped me and her point it out to you guys, right? And say, cuidado, repasamos aquí en la tele. So, yeah, es que las preposiciones, te digo por qué. You have en, we have in, on, at. Okay, so the odds, la probabilidad of getting it wrong are 1 in 3, right? Oh, it's in, on, or at. Y hay veces que puede ser las dos. I was at a wedding. I was invited. I was in the wedding. I was, asked to speak, or I was participating. I was asked by the couple to participate, right? I was in the opera. I performed. I was at the opera. Well, I was just seeing a show. It changes things, right? I was in the car. Muy bien. I was on the car. Uh-oh, not a good idea. Get down from there, right? So I heard an American man who's on a TV show and speaks a mile a minute. I caught a few words, not the gist of it, but he speaks about down doubling. Al revés, Chris, doubling down. Okay, os puedo decir que es to double down. It comes from gambling. Okay, so instead of apologizing, he doubled down. So it's redoblar la apuesta, duplicar, if we're talking about blackjack, right? But to double down is to become, ponerte más cabezota, right? I want an apology. Well, you're not only not going to get an apology, but now I'm not speaking to you again because I think you're a moron. You just doubled down. Acabas de decir, no. Mira, me voy a poner más cabezota. Here it says, Obstinarse, redoblarse, en el sentido de apuestas, es doblar la apuesta, ¿no? Redoblar, duplicarla. So you're saying, okay, no solo voy a tirar, pero ahora voy a darle el doble ahí, right? To become more stubborn. La palabra stubborn is the same as hard-headed, cabezota. So she says, but he speaks about doubling down. People who's in a hole. People who are, right? People who are in a hole. Tongue in cheek. Ooh, great expression there. Tongue in cheek is con un poco de ironía. Like, these guys are in a hole over here. So, all right. Excellent job. What can I say? Amigos, we have got to go to a quick commercial break right now. We are halfway through the show. I can't believe it. Time really does fly when you're having the time of your life. And I never felt this way before. Yes, I swear, it's the truth. And I owe it all to you. Oh, sing it. I had the time of my life. And I never felt like this before. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot of learning, laughing, playing, and sharing up ahead in the second half of today's show. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Say it with me on the count of 3, 2, 1. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. It is time for part 3 of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. I hope you are having fun. I hope you're learning, and I hope you're laughing with us. And here in Madrid, it's a rainy day. But hey, you need rainy days to know what sunny days are. And I can tell you that from firsthand experience. I remember I was living in Los Angeles, Hollywood, California, West Hollywood to be exact. And every day there's hot, beautiful, sunny. But every day it's exactly the same. It never rains. Well, I think it rained once while I was there. No snow, not in Los Angeles. And in the end, I started to long for snow. Añorar. Okay, maybe not when you're driving, but just seeing it, just having a change, your body being able to have different temperatures and adjusting and readjusting. And it was paradise until it wasn't. Until I said, okay, I get it. It's always sunny here, but I want more. It happened to me in Orlando, Florida, too. Now, Orlando, it rains. Since it's really humid, it's really muggy, it rains a lot, in Orlando. You know those days where it's really humid and then it's just downpour, no? Cae la del pulpo. But I remember I lived there, too. I lived in Orlando. And Christmas just wasn't the same without the cold weather. I remember being there on Christmas in Orlando, sitting at a pool, having margaritas. I'm not complaining. It was a great Christmas. I, had the time of my life. But I couldn't help thinking, where's the snow? Where's the, where are the skiers? Where's the smell of the chimney? The logs on the chimney. and you start to miss all that stuff. So we need variety. As we say in English, variety is the spice of life. All right, folks, it's time for today's Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Homophones here on the Show with No Name, where we're going to look at words that you might know, but you're definitely going to learn other meanings, as we always do. A lot of words are pretty rich. We'll also look at other uses as well. So let's see, A, if you're familiar with the words, and then B, if you know if they sound the same or not. All right, the first word is your belly button. ¿Qué? ¿El botón de tu tripa? Yeah, es como lo llamamos. Your belly button. But then there's always the scientific word, right? The medical word that you would use, right? So this is ombligo, pero no es la forma de que lo diría yo con mi hija o esto, el médico te lo diría así, right? So esto es el término más formal. Es como you can say your armpit, or what's another way of saying armpit? I can't remember now. Or your underarm, right? Axila, sobaco, same things. Axila or sobaco, right? Well, armpit or underarm, okay? So that's the first word. The first word is a part of your body. It is in the middle of your body. And you have an expression too, mirarse al ombligo. Well, ours is really, really similar. So vamos a aprender esa expresión también. Mira qué bien. All right. And our second word here is naval, que tiene que ver con la marina, right? Something that has to do with the Navy, right? I'm sure you've seen this written on American ships. Navy, pues si dicen él es un oficial naval, right? Well, that word in English, okay? So good luck, my amigos. Those are your two words. We'll see if you're familiar with them. And then if you are, well, you can tell me if they sound exactly the same or not. Also, I'm going to give you today's Say What soundbite now for the third time. Everybody jot down what you hear.
Okay, and finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you f***ed in the first place.
Do you know about Vaughn groups? Well, I'm going to tell you all about them. They are group English classes that you can do via video conference or in person. And the good news is you can start whenever you want. And you can keep the same timetable, teacher, and classmates throughout the whole course. And the best part, there's no strings attached. Sin compromiso. And if you act now, you can get a 5% discount for paying up front. And if you stick with the course for 6 months, you'll get a 50% discount in June. Wow, what a deal! As if you needed more reasons to learn English with Vaughn. Check out our Vaughn groups. Have fun and make friends as you learn English. Sign up now while there are still spots available. Call us 911-385831, or you can go to our website, grupovaughn.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media and find out if Vaughn groups are for you.
That's right, amigos. Find out more about Vaughn groups. Just go to grupovaughn.com. Also, follow us on social media. And this way, you never miss a beat. No te pierdas ni una. All right, let's take a look and see what we've got. I've got a lot of people participating in our homophone section. Born to Iron Man is the first one. And those are the correct words. Great job. And he says they sound alike. All right. Chris says and the correct words as well, and she says they're homophones. I'd say, yo diría. Laura gives us the correct words as well, and she says they sound alike. So right now, a lot of you are saying, yeah, these words are homophones. At least your three representatives here of the Holy Trinity. Hey, you earned the name. All three of you are constantly kicking ass. So I put you into a group together, the Holy Trinity. How do you like that? Unless you don't like it, then I won't call you that. But I figure you have earned your place in the pantheon of English students. All right, well, let me say both words. The first word is naval. Okay, so let's say, vamos a ponerlas juntas. The naval officer got a navel piercing. The naval officer got a navel piercing. Yes, yes, yes. They are homophones. Excellent job. Yeah, uno se escribe el primero navel, y el otro naval, pero se pronuncian exactamente igual. And then let's look at the first one first. As I said, there's more to it. Hay más, okay? So you've got your navel or your belly button, which is what we'd normally call it, right? And my daughter loves to put her finger in my belly button, and I hate it. And that's why she loves it, because I'm like, I don't like it. She's like, I got you. So she always tries to catch me off guard, pillarme desprevenido, and put her finger in my belly button because she knows I don't like it. Yeah, I just have it's like I don't know, one of those things. I don't like it. And she goes, got your belly button. I got it. So ombligo. Also, you've got a navel orange. These oranges that look like they have un ombligo. Well, that's called a navel orange. Okay. Also, in life, you can have an innie or an outie, right? An innie, pues, va para adentro. I've got an innie, right? When they cut my umbilical cord, they cut it and there's a hole there where my belly button is. But some people's belly button, or their navel, if you want to be anatomically correct, their navel sticks out. That's called an outie. An innie, are you an innie or an outie? Right? So navel orange. And then you've got navel gazing, right? This guy is gazing at his own navel gazing. To gaze is fijar la mirada, like, just to look for a long time, right? Stargazing, mirando las estrellas, contemplando. Pues es contemplando tu propio ombligo. ¿Te suena? Mirarse el ombligo? Man, this guy is guilty of navel gazing, right? You're self-obsessed, right? We also call it main character syndrome, right? El síndrome del personaje principal. Like you think you're, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Terminator in your own life. I don't know. I love these names though. But navel oranges are the ones. I always thought it was funny too. I'm like, they look like somebody with an Audi belly button. And naval, well, a naval officer, a naval academy, naval aviation, naval court, naval law, naval power, naval reserve. So you've got a lot of words where that becomes an adjective to those words. So unless you're a military officer, you might not have to know that. But just so you know now, and you can associate the two words are homophones. So great job to my amigos, the Holy Trinity. Also, Laura got today's Say What soundbite. Wonderful job, Laura. Wow. Excellent. I love it. you guys are kicking ass. I said it at the beginning of the show. Digo, venís listos para arrasar, and you're doing just that. But there's more, folks. It's time for today's Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. All right, folks, welcome to our Spelling Bee. Again, I think all of the sections here on the show, and depending on the day, they're all challenging, sometimes more, sometimes less. But round one of this section, I mean, is there anything harder on the show? I mean, day after day, this is the hardest section. Okay, even if you're good at jotting things down, I think it's harder than the homophone section, because the homophone section, what do? Well, you've got to kind of listen or say what. Say what might be harder or easier, but the way you express yourself, that's the same. Hasta si no lo pillas, te tienes que expresar igual. Well, I got this, I didn't get that. So this, though, you can guarantee it's going to be the toughest section on the show every day, especially round one. So is everybody ready? I am going to freaking fly through this, and we'll see how you do, amigos. Let's capitalize the first letter of every word, and here we go. The first one is PEARL space HARBOR. The second one is OAHU, comma, space HAWAII. The third one is RECIPROCITY, space TREATY, space 1875. The fourth one is US space PACIFIC space FLEET. The fifth one, WAI space MOMI. And the last one is USS space ARIZONA space MEMORIAL. ¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. O bien síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan. Brilliant. All right. I say brilliant, and not just to the Oxford Test of English, but folks, Born to Iron Man. In that short time that I put on that short ad, esa cuña cortita, guess what? Born to Iron Man had time to answer round one of our spelling bee. And you know what? I'm going to bet on him. I haven't even looked yet. I haven't even looked at your answers. I promise you that. But I'm going to bet on you, because I think you nailed it. Let's take a look. The first one is correct, sir. The second one, I sound like a military, like a naval officer. All right, the first one is correct. The second one is also correct. The third one is correct. The fourth one is also correct. The fifth one is perfect. And the sixth one, you knocked it out of the park. Wow. What can I say? Honestly, what can I say? Except unfucking believable. I'm sorry, pardon my French. Perdona por la palabrota, but es que no hay otra palabra que puedo poner entre el un y el believable there. Okay, I could say unfriggin' believable, pero se queda corto. Unfucking believable, dude. Really. Wow, wow, wow. I don't think I could get it. One day I want you to test me. All right. And for the rest of us, los demás, que me incluyo, here is round 2 of our spelling bee. The first word is PEARL space HARBOR. The second one is OAHU, comma, space HAWAII. The third one is RECIPROCITY, space TREATY, space, and here's a year, 1875. Okay? The fourth one is US, space PACIFIC, space FLEET. The fifth one is WAI, space MOMI. And the last one is USS, space ARIZONA, space MEMORIAL. All right, let's see if our amigas have joined Born to Iron Man on the podium. We've got Chris Valrol. Let me take a quick look. Chris Valrol, you nailed it. Also, Laura as well. Wow, wow, folks. Give it up for the Holy Trinity. Knocking it out of the park in style. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is, what time it is. They are always ready to rock and represent you, the students who can't be with us here live. So keep it up. All right, well, these words all had to do with Pearl Harbor. All right, Pearl Harbor, what do you call it? La Bahía de Perlas in Spanish. A harbor is a port, right? Harbor, yeah, port, un puerto. So what do you call it? Puerto de la Perla? What do you, that's interesting. Porque hay una película, there's obviously a movie with a love story based on the event, but it's Pearl Harbor. And the reason I chose this topic is because today in 1887, the United States Senate, no Senate, ahí no es, aunque es la palabra ate, comió, vamos a ponerlos juntos. The Senate ate together. Okay, o sea, suena más como it. The Senate, the senator, the Senate. So the United States Senate allowed the Navy. Hey, we looked at the word naval before. Was that on purpose? Yes. So they allowed the Navy to lease, esto es arrendatar, como alquilar, to lease Pearl Harbor as a Navy base or a naval base. You can say a Navy base or a naval base. So the words we looked at were, number one, Pearl Harbor. Just be careful. The British people spell that word with a U as well, like color. Para ellos, harbor es H-A-R-B-O-U-R. Como nosotros, como la palabra color and harbor, no empleamos esa U. And to harbor también es guardar, como don't harbor a grudge, ¿no? Resentimiento, harbor, albergar, amparar, right? Guardar un sentimiento. So that's a great double trouble. I think we've looked at it before in our double trouble section. He harbored a grudge after Pearl Harbor. That's a great way to remember it, right? The next one is where it's located. It's located in Oahu, Hawaii. In Oahu, Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii, but I would love to go to this amazing place. The next one is called the Treaty of Reciprocity. It's a difficult word, right? When something is reciprocal, reciprocity. And that's the Treaty of Reciprocity between the United States of America and the Hawaiian Kingdom, or shortened, the Reciprocity Treaty of 1875. No es la palabra más fácil de decir, eh? The next one is the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Okay, and that's number 4. That is the command, the naval command out in the Pacific. Again, I don't know too much about the military because I've never, been into this. The next one is called Why Mommy? Why? But why, Mommy? Oh, why? Why? Okay, no, it's the area where it's located. Why, Mommy? Now, I'm obviously taking the Hawaiian words, but in English, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, suena como ¿por qué, mamá? And the last one, the USS Arizona Memorial. Anybody who's seen a picture of Pearl Harbor, and I mean pre-attack, right? Antes del ataque. Well, no, after the attack. I should say post-attack, porque antes no estaba el barco. But this is a memorial that's built in the bay there, in La Bahia. And it's like it looks like a ship, kind of like a ship, but a building. And it's white, and it marks the resting place. It's like a watery grave, as we would say, of 1,102 of the 1,177 Marines that were killed on the USS Arizona during the attacks on Pearl Harbor in 1941. To be exact, on December 7th, 1941. Hey, we're looking at a lot of ordinal numbers today, aren't we? All right, amigos, we've got to go to our final commercial break. But we've got one more section of the show, and we're going to make every single second count. You can bet your bottom dollar. You can bet your bottom dollars. Claro que sí. Pues claro que sí. So when we come back, we're going to take a look at today's Double Trouble. We have the final listening of today's Say What soundbite. After that, we're going to the movies. That's right, we're going to learn English with some pop culture in Name That Movie, followed by famous birthdays. And we'll wrap everything up with some more pop culture in Name That Lyric. So much to do and so little time. We'll be right back, amigos, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. This is part 4 of today's show with No Name. Thank you so much for joining us, for learning and laughing with all of us here on Von Radio. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you all as students / friends, alumnos / amigos. Alumnamigos? Hey, I just coined a new term. Alumnamigos. Hey, you are. All right, folks, are you ready for Double Trouble? That's what we're going to kick off with. Also, a quick reminder, participate in this week's question of the week. Tell us how you deal with criticism. And I said before, constructive. No, you can tell us both how you deal with constructive criticism and how you deal with just blatant criticism. Criticism for the sake of criticism. And you know what they say, people who criticize someone else, they're obviously putting all their energy and effort on someone else. So what does that mean? Not putting it on themselves, right? I always say, if you're too concerned with what somebody else is doing, you're missing your own life. Think about that. Live and let live. Or as Paul McCartney said, live and let die. Live and let die. Great cover of that song by Guns N' Roses, too. But it's not time for Name That Lyric. Not right now. No way. It's time for today's Double Trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
All right, folks, and welcome to our Double Trouble section here on the show with no name. Here we go. I've got it for you today, and I think you guys should be able to figure it out. I could be wrong, but we'll find out in just a moment, won't we? All right. Él llegó a la cima o cumbre de la montaña cuando estuvo en su mejor momento. So, él llegó. Or you can put ella, as long as you know the difference, you know. So, ella llegó o él llegó a la cima de la montaña o a la cumbre, y no es la palabra summit, que también es cumbre en cuanto a se unieron personas y cumbre, pero no es esa, aunque como en español tiene el doble significado también. So, ella o él tiene que hacer juego en la segunda parte, eso es lo importante. Él o ella llegó a la cima de la montaña cuando estuvo en su mejor momento de vida, ¿no? Vital. All right, there you go. That's today's Double Trouble. As always, you're limited in this translation because you have to use the same word twice. All right, I'll let you mull it over. To think it over or to mull it over is darle unas vueltas. And in the meantime, I'm going to give you the Say What soundbite for the fourth and final time. Jot down what you hear.
Okay, and finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you f***ed in the first place.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to groupovaughn.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, folks. More information about Vaughntown, Weekend Town, or any of our interesting initiatives, just go over to groupovaughn.com. Also, make sure you're following on social media. That means YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Instagram. I think they're even on TikTok. So check it out. And hopefully you guys can learn English with us there, as well as stay up to date about what's going on in the Vaughn world, which means events, special deals, new products that we put out, so you can be the first to know about what's going on. All right, let's take a look over here and see what we've got. Laura's participating in our Double Trouble. She says he got to the mountain's peak. Okay, that's right. The word peak is the word we're looking for here. He got to the mountain's peak when he was at his peak. Y tienes la preposición perfecta, to be at your peak. Yes. Otra forma de decirlo, in your prime. To be in your prime. Pero fíjate que acaba de pasar. If you're in your prime, you're at your peak. So it's totally different preposition. De hecho, conocéis, hay una bebida con like coconut water. It's made by a YouTuber. Lo ves mucho en las tiendas ahora. Se llama Prime. Prime, óptimo. You're in your prime, right? So to be in your prime or to be at your peak is to be at your best moment, right? All right, so great job, Laura. Chris says he reached the top of the mountain when he was at the top. The only thing, me encanta, no es la que buscaba, pero yo pondría para rematarlo y darle el totally native, at the top of his game. Y ahí tenemos otro totally native. So, he reached the top, y cuidado, no es top, it's top, right? Es como una A más que una O. He reached the top of the mountain when he was at the top of his game. Wow. Excellent job. Fantastic. All right, well, we've got to move on. That's right, though, to be at your peak, to be in your prime means to be at your best moment, right? You are, they say, oh, well, you're in your prime when you're in your 30s, or you're at your peak, right? Yeah, puedes usar el ejemplo que te guste, but to be in your prime or to be at your peak. Otra vez, lo he dicho varias veces para que distingáis la preposición. It's totally different there, okay? All right, let's see. We've got to go to the movies, folks. Is everybody ready to catch a flick?
Name that movie.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie here on the Show with No Name. All right, here we go. I'm going to read you a little synopsis, and if you're a fan of this, then you're going to know it the moment I say her name. All right? So I'm going to know who's a fan of this right away. All right, here we go. Laura Palmer's harrowing final days are chronicled 1 year after the murder of Teresa Banks, a resident of, I can't tell you, un pueblo, a neighboring town. Si te digo el pueblo, te digo el nombre. Oh, okay, well, that's a big clue, isn't it? You might know from the names, though. All right, let me give them to you again. So Laura Palmer's harrowing. If something is harrowing, it's espeluznante, I think. Let's see the way they translate it. It's really horrible, desagarrador, horroroso, right? Crea mucho horror, right? So Laura Palmer's harrowing final days are chronicled. And to chronicle es apuntarlo, ¿no? Mantener una bitácora de ellos. They are chronicled. A ver, es que seguro que hay otra palabra en español. To chronicle something is to hacer crónica, registrar, escribir una crónica. ¿Ves? Igual. Okay? So they are chronicled 1 year after the murder. Y esta vamos a pronunciarla porque he oído murder, ¿no? Imagínate la U como una E. Murder. ¿A qué sale más fácil ahora? Okay, so 1 year after the murder of Teresa Banks, a resident of, y ahora lo digo porque lo tiene Chris, a resident of Twin Peaks, neighboring town. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your movie queen, Chris Valrol. The movie is Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me. No, anda en el fuego conmigo. And this is a movie that came out in 1992, directed by and written by the late, y esto es desde hace unos días, the late David Lynch. He passed away. You want me to tell you the truth here? I prepared this script last week because I knew I wasn't going to be able to work on the script on Thursday or Friday. So when I was preparing this script, he was alive still. And so that's pretty crazy, right? You never know what happens in the space of a couple days. Porque llegamos a hablar de él hace 3 días, and it was he is, and now it's, unfortunately, he was. And I'm talking about the one and only David Lynch. And again, it's Twin Peaks. We just looked at the word peak in our Double Trouble, right? We said to be at your peak, to be in your prime. Well, Twin Peaks. And I've chosen a scene. Let's take a look at this scene over here and see what we can extract from it. Philip Jeffrey says, well, now, bien. Okay, bien. I'm not going to talk about Judy. No voy a hablar sobre Judy. Okay. In fact, de hecho, we're not going to talk about Judy at all. En absoluto, right? We're not going to talk about Judy at all. We're going to keep her out of it. Okay. Es otra forma de decir, no la vamos a meter. So in vez de decir, we're not going to put her in it, que no suena natural, we're going to keep her out of it. No, mantenerle lejos, fuera de lo que está pasando. And then Special Agent, no agent, agent, Special Agent Dale Cooper is bewildered. And bewildered is pasmado, I think you say, like, what? Wow, what the hell just happened? A ver cómo lo bewildered, buena palabra, ¿ves? Desconcertado, yeah, confused, like, huh, what? I don't know what happened there. Bewildered. So pone en el stage direction. Stage direction es las indicaciones. Bewildered, and he says, Gordon? ¿En serio? And he goes, I know, Coop. And that's an interesting word because coop es lo que llaman a alguien que se llama Cooper, but also a coop es una gallinera. And the word cooped up is, I feel cooped up, que tengo ganas de salir. Tengo la necesidad de, me siento encerrado, right? Makes sense. So, but in this case, the nickname is Coop. But just so you know, that is a word in English, right? Coop felt cooped up. No, se sintió encerrado. So then Philip says, who do you think this is there? Who do you think this is there? No, ¿quién crees que es esa persona ahí? And Albert says, suffered some bumps on the old noggin. Hey, Phil? So has sufrido unos chinchones, unos golpes, bumps, right? Speed bumps are speed bumps are estas cosas, ¿cómo las llamáis? Para que no pasáis de velocidad en el coche, ¿no? Tienen como a bump. So same idea behind it, ¿no? Es algo que sobresale. The reason I'm pointing it out, so you know, get the idea behind a bump. Like we even use it figuratively. Oh, well, we had a bump in the road. Tuvimos un contratiempo, un problema, right? A bump in the road. And to bump into someone. Oh, I bumped into John the other day. He said to say hello. Okay, so suffered some bumps on the old noggin. You know the word noggin? If you listen to my FYI episode on the body, you definitely learn this because we looked at all the totally native ways to talk about the body, right? And we looked at before, speaking of the body, navel and belly button. So noggin is another way of saying coco. Yo creo que la traducción perfecta sería el coco, right? His noggin. It's a weird word, isn't it, right? So what the hell did he say there? And he said, well, he suffered some bumps on the old noggin. Hey, Phil? Okay. Noggin. It's Noggin. Okay. And then Gordon, because it's all in caps, it's in caps lock, gritando. Y no lo voy a gritar para no estropear la voz, pero here it goes. What the hell did he say there, Albert? ¿Qué demonios dijo ahí, Albert? That's Special Agent Dale Cooper, for God's sake. Por el amor de Dios, Jeffries. Where the hell have you been? ¿Dónde demonios has estado? Where the hell have you been? You've been gone You've been gone damn near 2 years. Damn near es bastante cerca de, ¿no? Es para darle énfasis. Obviously, this guy is foul-mouthed, ¿no? No habla con palabrotas. And Philip says, the stories that I want to tell you about. Las cosas que te quiero contar. Básicamente, las cosas que te has perdido. So there it is. It's David Lynch, que también linchear a alguien. They lynched him. The media lynched David Lynch. Oye, es una tontería, pero si te ayuda a acordarte, pues perfecto, nos vale. All right, thank you so much for joining me at the movies. But now we've got to go to a birthday party. It's famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Famous birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays here on the show with no name. Let's see who's celebrating a birthday today. Our first birthday boy was born in 1951, the same year as my mom. I was going to say my wife. No, very different. 1984. 1951, so he's my mother's age. And his last name is Colina. Yeah, Colina. And he's from England. He's a musician, best known as the bassist of the British heavy metal band Judas Priest. And along with the lead guitarist, Glenn Tipton, he's the only member who has appeared on all of the band's studio albums. And Judas Priest, if you don't know them, I'm sure many of you have heard of them. They are an English heavy metal band. They are pioneers, many would say. And they formed in Birmingham, in 1969, okay? And they've sold over 50 million albums. Again, many refer to them as pioneers of what is called the new wave of British heavy metal, okay? But they also, I mean, they did a lot of stuff into speed metal, thrash metal, even glam metal as well. And they have been relevant since. They've got songs, such great songs. One of my favorites, Painkiller. He is the painkiller. Right? Painkiller. And I think probably the most famous one is Breaking the Law, Breaking the Law, Breaking the Law. And let me make sure this is them. There's another song that they've got, que es buenísima, okay? You got another thing coming. Now, esa te la quiero enseñar porque es una expresión. If you think I'm going to let you treat me like that, you got another thing coming, pues piénsatelo de nuevo, que no va a ser así, right? So es cuando quieres decir, pues no, okay? You've got another thing coming. It's a great song. And again, we're looking at Judas Priest, the bassist of Judas Priest. All right, number 2. This is an American director, producer, and screenwriter who passed away just a few days ago. And he's done it all. The Guardian said that this guy is probably the most important filmmaker of the current era. He did Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, Eraserhead, The Elephant Man, Twin Peaks, the series and the movie Fire Walk with Me, and also The Return, and Catching Big Fish, Images, and he's also directed music videos for Moby, 9 Inch Nails, Interpol. He's done commercials for Calvin Klein, L'Oreal, Yves Saint Laurent, Gucci. No sé si lo he dicho bien. Well, Gucci sí que lo he dicho. And so many more. And this guy's name is synonymous with the arts. He was a true artist. And last but not least, this is an American comedian and political commentator. He's pretty famous in the United States for his political satire. And he's known for being left-wing, but more moderate, like left-wing, but more center left-wing. And in fact, he just recently criticized the far left in the United States. Okay, it's very different. The far left here is in my country. So that's first thing when people say, are you left or right? Well, let's talk about what that means first, because it's a different thing depending on where you are, right? Depending on where the spectrum is. But he's somebody, some people say he's doing it because he wants to be in favor with the new administration. I think the guy's all right. I've never liked him or loved him either, or hated him either. I thought, well, he's got he says his things and he's popular and well, that's the guy. Very, very well known though in the United States. All right, a nice round of applause for Chris Valrol. She got today's Say What soundbite and famous birthdays. That's right. Great job, Chris. You got the Say What soundbite and famous birthdays there. She says Ian Hill. That's right. Number 1 is birthday boy Ian Hill. Number 2, David Lynch. And number 3, Bill Maher. Bill Maher. And let's see. She says, I also love Parental Guidance by Judas Priest. Great song. Great. They've got so many wonderful songs. It's true. All right, let's listen to Bill Maher. This is Bill Maher. And it's him talking about the election defeat in the United States. And he says, okay, and finally, new rule, nueva regla. Someone must tell the usual, él es de izquierdas, I'll say it, un poco moderado, pero de izquierdas. And he goes, someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left, la izquierda extrema, that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging. Deja de cavar. Si estás ya metido, ¿no? Si la has cagado, si has metido la pata, no sigas, right? Don't double down, es lo que dice. He says, not keep digging. No, vamos a seguir haciéndolo. He says, talk about doubling down, hablando de redoblar la apuesta on what got you fucked, lo que te jodió en primer lugar. In the first place. So here he is, birthday boy Bill Maher.
Okay, and finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you f***ed in the first place.
All right, folks, time for Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
Great job, show with no namers once again. Thank you for all your effort, all your hard work. It's paying off. You guys, honestly, I'm going to tell you, in Spain, you are among the highest level students there are. Why? Not just because of us here at Vaughan, but mostly because of the effort you put in, the time and the effort. So awesome stuff. Keep it up. Today's song is Yes. The group is Yes, like Jessica Fernandez. Yes, as they call her. And the song is Owner of a Lonely Heart. Have you heard it? It's a great song. And the song starts off, move yourself. You always live your life. Move yourself. Muévete. You always live your life. Vives tu vida. Never thinking of the future. Nunca pensando en el futuro. Prove yourself. Demuéstrate. Demuestre lo que vales. You are the move you make. Eres el movimiento que haces. O sea, think of it as a chess game, el ajedrez. You are the move you make. Take your chances. Take your chances. Arriesgate. Win or lose. All right. Great lyrics and a great tune overall. Here we go. Sing along with me. Wow. Do it. Move yourself. You always live your life.